just in case you are a person who wants more than tips. You're ready to make a decision because you're tired of being ignored. You're tired of being passed over for positions. And none of this is about your worth, it's about strategy. And if you're open to a different strategy, stay with me for just a bit. I hope that you will see the true value in tonight being different so that it won't simply be tips. You can make a decision that will impact your next level. So, wherever you may be watching, I'm Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy. And I'm grateful that whether you're watching us on TikTok Live, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube events, Twitch, Facebook, that if you are unemployed, underemployed, or unhappily employed, this is for you. I want to make sure that you get exactly the information that you need to help you get to your next level. And I believe I have some information for you. Boy, do I have information for you. All right. So just checking across platforms. I have some information. All right. Just making sure I'm live across other platforms. Thank you for your patience. Had a little challenge earlier. All right. Just checking that out. Thank you, Danny, for joining me. I want to share with you some information that I know will be inspiration for your elevation. And I'm just going to, all right. As it's rendering to various platforms, I'll give it a second. And I just want to help because some of you have been watching content, maybe including some of mine, applying to jobs, waiting, sitting in frustration because you're not hearing anything back from the company, not even an acknowledgement of your application in some instances. And you're hoping, but it appears that nothing is changing. So tonight I want to help you fix that. And so if you're serious, really serious about getting unstuck, you're in a position that you don't want to be in, whether you're unemployed, underemployed, or unhappily employed, and you want to get yourself well positioned to be where you want to be, type ready in the chat right now. I'm interested in connecting with many of you across platforms because I know that as I've talked to people across various platforms that are looking for jobs, a number of them say it's tough. There are ghost postings and the behavior of recruiters and hiring managers is deplorable. And you're facing all kinds of situations and circumstances. I want to help. And, you know, normally when I come on, it's just career Q&A. Well, tonight I thought some of you are probably ready to make a decision. And I want to help you to do that tonight. And so I'll be on for just a bit. And I'm just checking across platforms, making sure that everything is copacetic across the various platforms. And I want to just share it as well. All right. So just bear patient with me as I share a couple places. Okay. Right. Thank you for your patience. Okay, cool. Excuse me. All right. Taking a moment. And I'm also trying to catch my overseas friends whose hours are a little different than ours. And so hopefully I'll catch up with a few of them here as well. All right. So if you're a person that's um, it's like your bills are, hey, Jessica, your bills are still coming, your confidence is dropping, and people are asking you about any update. I'm talking to those of you that are unemployed, underemployed, or unhappily employed, and you don't have a good answer because you're kind of giving up in the job market. I want you to make a decision about that today, that you're going to move from being stuck so that you're unstuck and positioned for your next greatness. And I can imagine that's frustrating, right? And where someone is saying, hey, you had any updates, any new leads? It's not just frustrating, it could be heavy, it could be embarrassing, it could be humiliating, right? But don't give up. Because there's a truth that a lot of people may not tell you, that if your strategy isn't working for you in the first 30 to 60 days, it probably won't magically start working for you. You may have to change something. Something may have to change, or someone may have to change, right? And if you're ready for that change to happen, drop ready in the comments for those that are unemployed, underemployed, or unhappily employed, or if you know someone that is, who you believe is ready, they're sick and tired of just getting, I was speaking to someone earlier, she sent out a dozen resumes and she got 0 hits. No one said, thank you for your resume, thank you for your application, no interviews. That means typically that something needs to change, right? Because most people think the job search is like this: you apply, you wait, and you hope. Well, not quite right, and certainly not as a strategy. Really, the real process is you position, you prove, and you close. You position, you prove, and you close. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it because I think you need to make a decision if what you're doing isn't working. And if you don't position yourself right, you won't get the interviews. And if you don't prove your value, you won't get the offer. So I want to help you come to a determination and decision about where you are, what you need to do, pivoting to do it, having people speak your name in places where you're not present, and then preparing yourself to advance to the next level. So imagine this: you apply and you get a call within days. And then you walk into the interview authentically, powerfully, and confidently, and you leave knowing that you made an impact and that you stood out. Well, really, that's not luck, and you don't want to leave it to chance. That's strategy, okay? And if you believe that that's something that you want, type ready. You're ready for strategy, okay? Because you've seen a lot of information, and I'm going to be direct. I don't think you need a lot more information. Really, you need a system that will work for you, because right now you're guessing. And I'm not faulting you for doing that because you may not know what else to do besides guess, right? And so I want to talk to you and show you a little bit about a step by step system that's going to help you through all of those areas so you can position yourself to get the offers that you deserve. It's everything that I've learned and used in coaching, employee coaching, and candidate coaching, job seeker coaching, career coaching from all these 27 years. And I packaged it into something that you can actually use. And you got options, right? You can say, you know what, I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. Or you can decide to do something different. And this very well could be your moment. And I don't want you to overthink it because you already know what isn't working. So you know what isn't working, you can fix it, and you can move forward. You can move forward to the job we both know that you deserve, right? If you know you deserve that job, say, I deserve it. Drop that in the comments if you know that you deserve it. All right. So this is for you if you're applying to jobs and hearing nothing back. So stick with me because I'm about to talk to you a little bit about what recruiters are actually looking for. And let me know that you're ready. You're ready. Drop ready in the comments. I'm just checking across platforms. So if you see me looking around, I've got different things happening on different platforms. Just wanted to check and make sure. Um, and thank you again, those that are watching across platforms. The way I know you're here is like what Jessica did. You say hello, and then I'm able to respond to you, of course. Unfortunately, I can't see across platforms who's actually come into the room. So I shared it in a couple places, and I just want to make sure that I'm able to keep up with who's here. Chris is here. Thanks so much. I'm trying to see who else that is. Okay, thank you so much over there on TikTok. Appreciate you. All right. So if you've applied to 20, 50, 100 jobs in the last 30 days, or you've applied to hundreds of jobs in the last quarter, ask yourself, as a result of how many I applied to, how many interviews did I get? If you're not getting 50% or better in interviews, the issue is likely not effort. You're trying. And I applaud you for doing that. It's likely conversion. And I think conversion has a lot more in this process to do with alignment than it has to do with volume. So oftentimes people say, just spray and pray that somebody calls you. Now, I'm a man of faith, so I believe you should pray. Actually, I think you should pray and then spray. Spray means something different, though, to me. It is strategically positioning your resume to reach the audience that will say yes. So you got to position yourself differently by aligning what you have with what they need and doing it in a way that you appear to be a 10 out of 10 match versus them trying to determine how you fit, how you match. So your issue is not effort. If you're applying, really the issue is conversion. And if you're ready for that fix, I want to see a ready in the comments. Thanks, Luminous Lymphatics. Thanks for joining. Achievers, thanks for joining. I want to tell you something from my years of, I think I've literally seen 10,000 resumes in my lifetime. And I want to tell you something. Recruiters scan that resume in seconds, oftentimes looking for keywords and results. If your resume simply says responsible, that is a quick way to get scanned beyond. Because responsibility doesn't really say how well you did something or whether or not it solved the problem. So that can very well be your problem. So if you say responsible for onboarding new customers, responsible for onboarding new employees, well, that's a duty, right? We want to move away from duties included. We want to show highlights and accomplishments. So maybe you're saying onboarded 40 plus employees, reducing training time by 25%. Onboarded 50 customers, reducing churn by 11%. You have to go back and look at your accomplishments. And we'll talk about an accomplishment record and how you can get one to use to build up your resume if you so choose. So you have to think about, what are my wins? And why would these wins matter to that employer? All of your wins aren't going to be a part of your resume story because not all of them are applicable to that employer. It's a custom resume targeting one position where you're going to solve problems in one organization. Okay. House Bokar Style, thanks for joining. Tap that screen, get us engaged over there. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And what happens is we kind of dilute or water down our value when we're talking about one thing when we should be talking about another, right? If this company values innovation, but you're talking about communication, right? Communication is great, and it's great across a ton of roles and a ton of organizations. Very important. But if innovation is the main crux of this position, you're expected to innovate. Why would you spend time talking about communication specifically, right? You're going to find all of the keywords that are related to, aligned with innovation. And when you speak that language from the position of their job description, job posting, job specification, you begin to tell your story using their words. Oftentimes, just this small tweak of telling your story using their words captures their attention. And the review of a resume goes from 3 to 6 seconds to 15 to 20 seconds to a phone call or an email, which is a qualified hit. I'm thinking about one of my colleagues who wasn't getting hits, and then I gave him some tweaks to do to his resume, and he got hits in 30 minutes after submitting that resume with those tweaks. 2 weeks later, he had a job offer. Third week later, he was working. Now, I can't say that's the result for everybody because that organization was hungry for him or a talent like him. He was hungry for a new opportunity, and it was the timing that worked well, right? But he got the hits because he was speaking their language. He was using their keywords. He was talking about their core competencies. All of the things that they talked about in that job posting, he was able to authentically align his background with. I say authentically because there are resume writing services and people across platforms who will tell you embellish, lie. I'm not a proponent of that. Sure, you can fine tune it to sound a certain way, absolutely. But I don't think you say if you onboarded 50 people all year, you say onboarded 50 people monthly, right? That's more than an embellishment, right? You might say onboarded system wide. That might not tell them the number of people, right? It might be misleading, right? It might be system wide, but when you say words like enterprise wide, system wide, people think big numbers, right? So you could be alluding to something that you're kind of on the periphery of embellishment. But if you say it's 200 and it's only been 40, if you say it's 15 and it's only been 2, I don't want you to do that in a resume. I do want you to use language that makes your story worth reading. Your resume is your story, and you must tell it well. All right. Happy ever after 1969. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Tap that screen over there so we can get those folks engaged over there. So what I've seen and what I see all the time, someone comes in qualified, experienced, but they can't communicate in writing or in person, which is another part of the conversation. They can't communicate their value. It bears worth repeating that a lot of people don't understand their value, and therefore they don't understand their career direction. When you know your value, it helps to shape for you your options and where you might decide to go. So it bears repeating that I want you to do a self-test. What is your power? And when I say what is your power, what is your knowledge, skills, abilities, behaviors, and competencies? What are the things you do so well that people are knowing you for it? You're known for it. The things you do so well that somebody said, oh, you need that? Ask him, ask her. The things you do so well that people say, I just love when you do. I love the way you do. I can always count on you to do this well. That's your power. Then what's your passion? Your ikigai. What is your, as the Okinawans say, who are known for living very long lives, what's the thing that gets you up out of the bed in the morning? What is your interest? What brings meaning to your life? What brings you joy? What satisfies you? Those are your passions. The place where your power and your passion intersect, I'm going to use my chin, that is your purpose. And if you can sit in the center of that purpose, you can look out to see what's in the market and what your value is to the market. You know these skills, but skills alone aren't the value that brings you to the higher tier of earnings, of benefits, of opportunities. Uh, What must match your skills is your motivation. And most of our motivation is around our passion. That's why I said it's important to know your passion, because the things that motivate you, if you can find the place where what motivates you to get up out of the bed and have meaning and impact crosses your power, you have reached a destination, my friend, that you can see the world very differently and be able to tell it, to tell employers, to tell organizations what your value proposition is. What value do you bring in exchange for what we would give you? And until your resume communicates it and every communication that you have with an organization communicates it, you will blend in with the people who have similar skills, similar backgrounds, similar experiences. The way you stand out is you get real clear about what your purpose is. And then you align your opportunities, your options, if you will, with your purpose. Most times we're just trying to find a company that we think is a great place, but does it align with who you are? Does it align with the value you expect to get from the company and what you're willing to give them? Now, no one is going to truly pay you what you're worth as an individual. They're going to pay you what those skills are worth on the marketplace. And maybe exponentially based on your motivation, based on your get up and go, based on your go get it, based on how assertive you are once you get into that job. Okay. So if you can't communicate that value, guess what? You can be equally qualified, equally experienced, and lose out to someone less qualified who is better positioned themselves. Okay. And many people are running into that because you don't position yourself well. Okay. Let me know if you've ever felt like that. I know it's a late night for some, but this is how I get to reach some of my folks that are overseas because they have different times. Some of them, of course, will watch this first thing in the morning when they awaken, and some it's already today is Monday, so it's already Tuesday in some places. So when you think of your resume, I want you to think of it being your story. And how can you tell your story in a way that shows that you will bring value to that company? Okay. Let me be real with you about something. You can keep doing what you're doing. And eventually, as the job market balances to some degree, we expect that it will. In some regard, though, it may be a while before it balances because this phenomenon called AI has entered the job market, correct? And it is already redefining many roles and maybe even more roles, depending. on which organizations come to the reality that while this is a new wave beyond what I believe we've seen, that the human intervention in many uh, aspects is going to become even more critical. Okay. So you can keep down the path until it levels out, until the economy levels out, till gas prices come back under $3. Of course, I can remember a time they were under $1, until food prices go down and utilities go down, as bills go up, and maybe your confidence in the community, in the economy rather, is going down. That may level some, right? Or you can decide to fix it. Because another 30 days, another 60 days of this with no income change, no happiness change. You dread getting up on Monday morning, you dread getting up on Friday morning, and every day in between. You don't like the company, you don't like your boss, you don't like your coworkers, and it's really weighing on you. You can stay there or you can fix it. And if you want a job in the next 30 to 60 days, but you've been applying, something has to change, right? Something has to be different. Now, you might be thinking, well, it's me. I have to change. Something's wrong with me. No, something's wrong with your approach to the process. And that's what has to change. And I want to help you do that. So I'm going to take a minute to share my screen and show you. Let me tell you first the story about it. I was in a group and they were saying, oh, this is, you're just trying to show us this app. I'm pretty proud of it. Yep, I am trying to show it to you because heretofore, let me go back a little bit. I am bivocational and I've always done other types of different things. But when I got into human resources, which I've been doing music for it'll be 40 years, 41 years. I started when I was 2. But I've been doing human resources for about 27. And when I first got into human resources, because I love people and I love process and I love purpose and I love to help people impact process and systems in purpose and drive business results, I've always enjoyed that part of the work, and I enjoy and have worked in just about every facet of human resources. Been blessed to, I'll say that. And I found over time that I would get into positions and opportunities to advise, guide, counsel people how to navigate in their career, when to do, what to do, how to do. And it gave me so much joy. Building other people up my entire life has given me joy. And I've done it, and I did it over the course of years just to do it. You know, it was a part of the work for me. And as I got farther into my career, I said, oh, this is something that people would give value for, right? This is very valuable. I decided that I would do a little coaching, and I've been doing coaching all along, but formalized some of my own frameworks, right, to deliver them to people. Around 2019, I formalized it more, just not even a full year before the pandemic, a full year before the pandemic. Formalized it, and then the pandemic hits and we're locked down, right? And during that lockdown, because I didn't have the regular other activities that I would have after work, it afforded me a little more time to plug in time and energy into some of the coaching. And I got awesome opportunities to speak in Africa. No, I didn't go to Africa, but I got to be live with African, my brothers and sisters there who are HR professionals and people who were trying to pivot during the pandemic. I got to talk to people in India and people in Venezuela, some interesting conversations trying to understand. And all around France, I met Simone Jo Moore, who is on LinkedIn, and maybe she'll see this at some future point. I got to meet people that I might not have otherwise had an opportunity to meet. And over and over and over and over and over again, I found people who, amazing people, who wanted more freedom, wanted more meaning, wanted more joy. And I found myself coaching in various ways, um, sometimes in person as the pandemic began to let up, sometimes virtual, most times virtual, sometimes in pre-recorded content that I would record and uh, disperse to groups of people, like cohorts, where there was asynchronous kind of cohorts happening. And all of the stuff around career advice in various ways. I mean, I've done resume refresh and redos. I've done mock interviews. I've done networking cohorts. All of these different things that I did in these different sections, I came up with the idea to combine them all into one product. Now, I have also had apps that I started work on that I shelved because they didn't get where I wanted them to go. One in particular was in a competition. I think there were about 406 applications. I was in the top 7, got into the semifinals, which was the top 39, and then the top 7. I did not win. I was devastated. I wanted that money to build my app. Tried to enter another program. That didn't work out. So I shelved that app and said, well, maybe it's just not for me to do. Maybe it's just an idea. And I recently ran into a dear friend of mine, Marlon Williams, who I've known since we were freshmen in high school. And God bless Marlon Williams. What she was calling me about a whole different something. And she said, hey, how about that app or those apps? And I said, you got me. I haven't done anything. She says, Marcus, I want you to start working on them. I will be an accountability partner for you. Here are some tools. Just try them. And do you know, I tried those tools and I was able to build this app myself. I built the app myself. On LinkedIn, Max Blumberg would be proud of me if he hears about this. I built the app myself. And so now I just want to show you a little bit of the front of the app. I won't go too much into it, but I do want to show some of it. And so I am very excited that I have this app. And so let me see if I can share it. Okay. I'm going to share my, okay. This is not the landing page. I better show you the landing page, the Career Journey app. This is the landing page of the Career Journey MVP app. And to go to your dashboard, you would need to have created a membership, which it would give you the opportunity to do that. And it tells you a little bit about it. It's powered by me, the HR Passion Guy. Land your dream role in 30 days. Of course, that asterisk means that result might not be everyone's. But I fix your resume, give you job leads, and show you exactly what to say in interviews. And I want to show you a little bit about how it works. Again, that asterisk says average time to job offer for engaged users. Results may vary on individual effort. All right. Here's what happens when you join. Your resume is built to actually get interviews. You get up to 15 real job leads based on your experience. You know exactly what to say in behavioral interviews. You stop guessing and start getting responses. So you sign up and unlock the access, complete your intake, execute with confidence. This is different because people guess. They guess what to put on their resume, guess what jobs to apply for, guess what to say in interviews. This system removes the guesswork and gets you to a clear path to getting hired. All right. So that's the dash. This is the dashboard. I'm signed in as me. And it takes you through 5 modules. Okay. Takes you through a career breakthrough assessment. I'm going to say start here. And it's going to ask you some questions to see where you are in your current employment status. So I'm going to say employed. I'm not going to walk you all the way through, but it's going to ask you questions about your target role, ask you various questions to give you an assessment, right? The strengths discovery is somewhat similar. It's going to do an emotional intelligence evaluation on the 4 domains of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, knowing your emotions, strengths, and values; self-management, controlling impulses and managing stress; social awareness, understanding others and dynamics; and relationship management, building trust and inspiring others. So you begin your assessment. It walks you through some questions on the EQ profile across all 4 domains. And then it has you map your strengths to competencies, and you get a downloadable PDF report. Okay. Then it takes you to the resume mastery. You get to do up to 5 specific resume variants or versions of your resume if you provide a job spec. And it'll give you 12 to 15 targeted job matches with application links. So it's going to give you an Excel spreadsheet to download with those links, tell you a little bit about each company, and you will get your resume reviewed and rewritten. Okay. And again, you can do up to 5 variants by adding different job specs, because it's going to tailor it to the job spec, your targeted title, your location, your desired salary, and then analyze your resume and then give you a chance to rewrite it. Okay. That right there is the bulk of what a lot of people should have, and they missed starting out with where you are in your journey and what strengths you have as an inventory and an emotional intelligence, which then can feed into the mapping to skills and competencies to help build a resume that matches to the organization, and will look at skills that maybe shouldn't be inferred, or skills that are adjacent to the skills they're looking for, or skills that are allied or similar to the skills that they're looking for, plus go out as a job concierge and find leads. Okay. Then it takes you to the network accelerator. This is the big part that I think a lot of people miss. And this is a video of me teaching you how to network like a pro. Maybe that thumbnail is not the best thumbnail, but I love it. Because after you submit your resume, you should not just wait. You should begin networking so that people are speaking your name in rooms where you're not present. Now, the way I do life coaching is I teach people to begin that networking as the foundation. It's your garden that you're watering. When you take time to touch people with your words and touch people with your actions, people remember it and they tell others about you. You create a life where you're just putting positive vibrations and frequencies out there, so that when people are speaking your name in other rooms where you're not present, it grows your garden upon which you can build any kind of like, know, and trust that you need. Okay. It's called the Networking Accelerator. It's about an hour-long video. You can watch it at your leisure, implement the things it's telling you to do, and you're going to watch how people are connecting with you. because once you put that positive word out there, you will draw to you what you are putting out there. And then finally, the interview tool, the interview tool. It is my secret sauce and SOAR framework. You've heard of the STAR framework. I have the SOAR framework, very similar, except I also have some secret sauce. So once you upload that new resume, or whichever you decide, and upload that job posting and job description and provide me just a little bit more information, I will provide to you, the tool will provide to you, probably in 5 minutes or less, 5 to 7 questions that you would be asked on that interview, along with the 5 to 7 responses that you would make in your own voice. So now you have what you would say, and you're just practicing them to build your confidence. You get all 5 of these modules, and depending on how much time you put with it, it could be 20 minutes, it could be an hour. The more robust information you feed into it about yourself, the more open and transparent you are about yourself, the better the product will be for you. Versus waiting for someone to do your resume, waiting for someone to schedule this or schedule that. You get the opportunity to go back and do it again and do it again and do it again. I want you to think about this problem of not getting any hits or not getting any interviews. Could it be that if you changed a few things in your resume, that if you were a bit more prepared and authentic, your nerves in tow, under control, that if you did a little bit more networking, where you're in an industry and you're virtually new to everybody in an organization, but you did a little bit more networking, that you would come to the position that you've always desired? I'm wondering whether that would be the case for you. I believe it would. And I want you to get the opportunities that you deserve. Okay? I'm going to put the information if you are interested in looking into it. And listen, I want you to understand, if you've been sitting here thinking, this could work for me, then I don't want you to leave this live and do nothing. I built a system that shows you exactly how to fix your resume, answer interview questions, network, actually get offers. Don't overthink it, because you've tried other things. And if those other things haven't worked and you need it to work, I want to challenge you to try something different, because this, my friend, is your moment. It's your time to fix it, and fix it so that your story brings value to everyone who sees your resume, that your stories bring value to the interview panel, that your story brings value to the hiring managers that you network with. Because when you do, and you build the know, like, and trust factors, you begin to bring to you the very thing, that job, that career move that you've been hoping for and maybe even praying for. I want you to give it some thought. You can go away and say, hey, nice presentation. I'm going to just wait until the right job comes my way. And that's your right. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything. But if what you're doing isn't working, and you have already let 30 days go by and it wasn't working, don't let another 30 days go by doing the same thing. If you've been sitting on the fence, you know you need to do something different, but you just don't know what to do. I want to offer this opportunity to you and get into the introductory offer. Because should you really wait another 30 days? Now, if you wait 30 days, I can tell you it won't be an introductory offer. We won't leave a good thing out there that long in that way. But I can tell you that if you make good on it today, you're going to see a change within the next 30 days. The question is, do you want to wait? Are you passing by an opportunity? Well, HR Passion Guy, what's for me is for me. You're right. Is this for you? Because if you're serious, now is the time. Step by step, a system that walks you through, literally walks you through to get you to the position you deserve. If your resume is not converting, if your interview answers are weak, or you leave the interview thinking you've done a great job, but you never hear from them again, that ends tonight when you sign up for Career Journey MVP. All right. I'm looking across platforms, and I just want to thank those of you that have come. I will come back to try to fill up that founder circle of people who want to try it. I want to help them get to where they want to go so that they can become all that they need to be. I'm sharing it here. I'm going to share it across platforms in the hopes that for those of you that are underemployed, unemployed, or unhappily employed, that you will take the opportunity to look into it. You will be so grateful that you did. And I'm so excited for your future. All right. I'm just typing it in across platforms. I think it hit everywhere, but looks like TikTok and LinkedIn. Well, both places have it in the link in the bio. So Instagram has it in the link in the bio as well. Facebook has it there as well. But I want to make sure that you have it in these comments as well. So I want to thank you for being here. And I will probably pop in at a time later because I want to make sure that as many people as I can, that I can get you in the founder circle, the first 50 folks. And then there will be a tier, a price increase. And ultimately, it will be fully launched at its regular price. So you want to get in now while you save, you have a deep discount because I know job seeking is hard. It's a full-time job. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, even employed, unhappily employed, you may be counting every dollar. Gas is high, food is high. So I wanted to make it reasonable for job seekers. But the reality is, if you have these services from me individually, it would not be this price. And if you go out to other people, some people, I was checking some prices, and one place, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate a good resume writer, good resume writing services. But I've seen some of the writing services where they were doing just the one resume for $350. I think that's a high price point. I'd have high expectations if someone was charging me that amount. I've never paid that amount. I've paid more than a lower tier, I guess you will call it. But when you think about it, you could really train people how to improve their resumes, which I've had a DIY cohort, I've had DIY ebooks. But if someone wants it done with someone who has the expertise, I understand that there's great value in that. But I also know that the average job seeker who is unemployed is trying to pay rent or mortgage or light and gas bill and water bill. They're trying to stay abreast the best way that they can. So I wanted to help out in the ways that I could to make it something that is affordable. And so I invite you to take a look at it. And I appreciate your time and attention, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube events, Instagram, and I'm missing one. Thank you for being here. And I hope I'm missing one. I hope that you will take a look at the Career Journey MVP, which I'm going to show you one more time, and hope that you will decide it's time for you to go to your next level. Here it is. That's my dashboard. The 5 modules are yours. Unlock the hold that's been on your career. Do it now, and you will be glad as you move into the next level of your career. You will be glad that you did it. All right. Have a grateful rest of the evening, and I will talk to you soon.